to this episode of The Pulse. Today we're talking with Dr. Eric Katz. He is the Chair of Emergency Medicine here at MIHS. This is always a really exciting time of year as we welcome our new physician residents. Talk about your time as a resident and what you were experiencing and what our new residents are going to be dealing with.
Whenever a new resident shows up somewhere, they go through the same thing we went through 20 years ago. They're nervous. Sometimes they've moved across the country. They don't know anybody except their classmates who they just met last week or through social media. And they're surrounded by a gigantic hospital that they don't even know how to get their way around. It's very, very nerve-wracking. The thing that I always remember best about residency and about those nerves is being on a new rotation somewhere with a new crop of sick people with diseases I'd never taken care of. You'd go from internal medicine to a neurological ICU to a cardiac ICU. And I remember every day I would stand there on my first night on call and look around whatever rotation I was on, and I would think to myself, you know, someone dumber than me has done this before, and it turned out okay. And that actually made it kind of better.
How do you think residency in general has changed or evolved since that time?
It's light years different. The supervision that I had in the late 90s was non-existent.
Okay.
You could see patients, you could learn the wrong way to treat them, but if you did it with confidence, people let you keep going with it and you could learn the wrong lessons. Now there's direct supervision virtually round the clock. Every procedure is supervised, and if you're doing something the wrong way, it'll be noticed and you'll have a chance to learn the right way.
What can our residents here at MIHS expect in the first days and weeks?
Probably a lot of hazing, probably a lot of
true.
grief and jokes. It's true. So probably in the first few days, there'll be the usual jokes about their nerves. There'll be the usual jokes about how they're going to fit in. There'll be the usual complaints about how we're trading in our senior residents who are graduating for people straight out of med school and what's that going to do to the medical system. There'll be the usual jokes about don't get sick in July. And then by August, they'll realize that, number one, they're not the dumbest person here. And number two, that they're getting really good training. And number three, this is a process that takes several years, but by the end of several years, they're going to be really good. And 3 years from now, the new people will be looking at them the same way, thinking, how am I going to do what he does?
Yeah.
But in a month or two, they'll realize they'll be able to do what that person does.
Do you notice there's a different atmosphere in the air when the new residents arrive?
Absolutely. In some ways, really good. Like you said, there's a lot of excitement about it. In other ways, there's a little bit of dread about what's going to happen to the throughput and how closely do we have to check things. And at the end of the day, Maricopa's been through this for 50 or 60 years every July.
That's right.
This July won't be any different. And every year, our residents get better and better and better.
Very good. Why is this such a popular place to train?
I think it comes down to a few things. It's a safety net facility, which means that you have some direct autonomy and you get to get hands-on when you're treating the patients in a way that you don't get at some of the Ivy League institutions. There you have 5 specialists between you and every patient.
Right.
Here, you're with your patients. You have a safety net population that's very grateful for what we do. And they're surrounded by good people here. Everybody here can make more money somewhere else. They're here because they love being here and because they love the Copa tradition.
This year is really special because we're now operating under the Creighton Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
Can you kind of explain what that means for residents and for us?
So what the Creighton Alliance means is that residents who come in now will have opportunities not just within the Maricopa system, but also to rotate over at St. Joe's and even in Nebraska if they want to. The concept of having a citywide affiliation is that you take the best opportunity for the resident regardless of where it is. And so if you're getting a better experience in one certain subspecialty at one hospital, send all of your residents through that rotation. And that way you're always learning from the best people around with the best experience around. It opens up tons of doors. For us, it opens up some avenues in some areas that we just don't have a lot of experience with. So for example, emergency medicine residents will be working at Barrows Neurological Center, which is something that we've never had access to before.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.